Hello peoples, you okay? How you doing? Red Pill Phil, grafting away in sub-zero temperatures as normal. A big hello to all new subscribers, hope you're resonating. Welcome aboard on the Red Pill boat. And a big hello and a big thank you to all old subscribers. Hope you're hanging in there in what is regarded as desperate, miserable times to a degree. The moral, as in the moralistic people in the world, are having to live around people that are fast becoming immoral. So it's not easy, but thank you for resonating, thank you for hanging on. Okay, right, I was watching a clip the other day by a chap called Louder with Crowder. A lot of you have probably heard of him. This is an American chap, a comedian that is more and more getting more political, but his clips are funny but send out a powerful signal as well. Okay, so this guy basically, he sat down with his friend in a front room and he's got a Amazon Alexa set up. Okay, now he's asking it questions, certain questions. Now, the worrying aspects of it, you can have a lot of fun with this device, I guess, by asking it questions and this, that, and the other. And to me, there's all kinds of social ramifications for having a device like this in your own house. But he's asking it questions, and the two questions that freaked me out was one, he asked a question about who Muhammad was. Okay. Now, when Alexa answered this question, it had nothing but positive things to say about Muhammad, in respect that Muhammad was a spiritual kind of philosopher, an all-round brilliant person, this, that and the other, okay? Doesn't refer to any of the negative, nefarious stuff that Muhammad supposedly had done, yeah? And even Crowder made the point, well, how does Alexa know all this to the degree? Was Alexa there at the time to say with so much authority that this supposed Muhammad, this spiritual leader, this all-round brilliant person, was as brilliant as it's making out? Because it certainly can't. So he kind of was making the point where, you know, who is inputting the information on this? This is a progressive kind of way of thinking that has been put forward. So if anyone, any kid, wants to grow up learning the truth, then the last thing you should do is be asking Alexa, because Alexa is going to do nothing but send out kind of progressive propaganda, okay? So the next question that he asked was, who was Jesus, okay? So now, from my kind of perspective, from my teachings of from what I've heard about Jesus and been taught about Jesus over the years and the ideals that Jesus was, what he was about, this, that and the other, you would expect Alexa to say pretty much the same thing. Now, to my horror, Alexa didn't. All Alexa actually said was, Jesus was a mythical character. A mythical character. But yet, Muhammad was painted as this brilliant, you know, absolute spiritual leader, philosopher, an all-round good guy. You know, a guy you'd want to be around, yeah? Never mind all the nasty stuff that he's been into. So, to me, that is worrying, okay? The fact that a lot of people will invite this into their home, they will probably buy it their kids, they will probably have it sat on their dining room table, and they will trust this thing as a source, a credible source of information. Now, I know, you know, people may only use it to go and buy stuff and this, that and the other, but you can see how there's almost a bit of a Trojan horse effect built within these devices, yeah? We've all got it with mobile phones, we've got them with laptops, you know, and it wasn't so long back where WikiLeaks actually published some files that had been leaked. The files were called Vault 7. They're all freely available to kind of look up. Now, within these files, it was explaining that subcontractors that are working with companies that build devices for the home, i.e. washing machines that are internet-based, i.e. smart TVs that are internet-based, i.e. mobile phones and laptops, all that kind of stuff, that basically there was working with the CIA and other governmental bodies to build what they call backdoors within all these technologies. Now these backdoors are not really told to the public, yeah? We're just told of how brilliant this technology has been and how you need it in your life, and if you haven't got it in your life then you are almost at a disadvantage, because look, it can do this, look, it can do that, but they won't tell you about the back doors, okay? Which is a worrying aspect, being that in the United Kingdom, in England, we are the most surveilled country in the world, okay? Now, people might go, well, I'm glad we are. Now, I would say, well, yeah, to a degree, I'm glad that we have got CCTV, because I can see how it may work in certain aspects, but I can also see the nefarious side of how we're living in a more controlled environment where people are being watched more and more, okay? So that's my take on it. So if I had the choice of having them and not having them, in hindsight now, being that what we were told and how they've been brilliant for our lives and how it actually is in terms of the level of control and surveillance, I would not have them. Now, I understand mobile phones, I've got one myself, I'm actually filming this clip from one now, so I totally respect how important certain devices are in everyday life. But, say with laptops have cameras, they have microphones which can be tapped into and hacked, okay? You only have to go onto YouTube and tap in hacked webcams, and it will come up a series of videos, you know, as long as a toilet roll, showing where innocent people have been in the house and they've unwittingly left their camera either on, maybe not even on, but particularly left the laptop open, so which means that someone has hacked that, and then they're showing, surveilling and looking at everything that's going on within that house. So you're actually viewing people that have no idea that they've been hacked and they're being filmed, okay? Now that's just hackers. Never mind governmental bodies, how they can use it, okay? So going back to Alexa, you've got to think to yourself, well, if everybody had one of them machines, devices in the house, how dangerous that would be for the so-called surveillance state that we live in, okay? Now, the one aspect that a lot of people don't realise, but a lot of people, particularly on this channel, will, the owner of Amazon is a geezer called Jeff Bezos, okay? Now, Jeff Bezos is a man, a multi-billionaire, yeah? He's one of the elites. He received £600 million or $600 million, okay? Now, he received that from the CIA. So then you've got to question, why has he got that, okay? They don't just give out money willy-nilly, okay? He's one of the elites. He owns the Washington Post. He owns several other businesses, no doubt. The guy is a multi-billionaire. Now, you think to yourself, is Alexa part of the spyware? You know, is Alexa, imagine Alexa in every household in the world. Now, imagine if the CIA, the FBI, all government, GCHQ, all governmental bodies around the world could tap in to that control grid, which is known as Alexa. Imagine if every household in the land, which is what they want, had that device, okay? If they had that device, then maybe in the future, there may be laws that can be brought out in order to use the material that's extracted from these devices i.e. if it's a webcam, the video pictures, if it's Alexa, the voice, the audio, because if you don't press mute on Alexa, it is always listening. So your general conversations around your house are always being listened to, okay? It also come out not so long back about Samsung. They had a model of internet TVs, which everyone loves. I don't personally, and I will never have an internet TV in my house, just because I'm kind of an old-fashioned guy and I can see that it's quite nefarious. Although, you know, these devices, just like any other device, is always put up with a big smiley face on it. Look how much you'll need it, look how much it will make your life easier, look how good it will be to make, you know, the quality of your life. But Samsung, for whatever reason, was actually honest, and they actually stated in their manual that basically, if you do not take the voice activation off on the options setting, then because it is voice activated, it is always listening, always. So it's always on and ready for a voice command. Now people might think, well, what's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with that is that your everyday conversations, Samsung has already admitted that they will use them audio recordings and sell them to third, fourth party people. Now that can then be used back at you in terms of marketing, okay? In terms of targeting it in other ways. So like I say, it won't be long before we all have these internet-based devices within our house that they will start to change laws or even do it illegally where they can use that material against you. People have a lot of private conversations in the house. A lot of people are intimate in their bedrooms, this, that and the other, and you've got all these devices that can switch on. The mobile phone camera can switch on at any point because they've got back doors in it. The microphone can switch on at any point because they've got back doors in it, okay? So, to me, I do feel somewhat old-fashioned because I am a very moralistic kind of guy, trying to be a decent guy, with integrity and trying to bring my family up with them same values. But at the same time, I am living in a world that is getting more and more immoral, and the people around me do not see it, because the people around me are accepting the immorality within life, because they just put it down to, oh well, that's the way the world is going, okay? Which I don't see it like that. It freaks me the fuck out when I look at the way the world is going, and I look at all these devices that have got Trojan horses built within them, okay? But they are sold under the guise of, this is something that will enrich your life, this will make your life better in some ways. And people are falling for it, okay? Now I can understand why people are falling for it, because they're not informed, but my point is, get yourself informed. Before you start buying these devices, look at what the potential is. Why has Jeff Bezos been paid £600 million by the CIA? Is it not kind of clear to think, well, maybe he's using backdoors within these devices like Alexa, and, you know, through the media, that he's using it as a propaganda tool? You know, the progressive statements that this Alexa's putting out. I don't want my little kid of 11 years of age to have an Alexa device in the house, and my kid relying on that Alexa device when she could use her own brain. She could go on, you know, all kinds of internet-based, look up certain information for herself, rather than a machine that has been programmed a certain way, telling her what to think, okay? You can see over generations how it will change the structure of the way we think. And that's how I see it. Now, I might be wrong in thinking that and call me paranoid, but I might be paranoid, but does it mean it's not happening, okay? I went to my youngest daughter's netball presentation a couple of weeks ago. It was a nice affair, there was a lot of people there. Now, the DJ there, he was playing a lot of current stuff that the kids obviously want to listen to. The modern day R&B, this, that and the other. Okay, so one tune come on, and all I can say is that it wasn't radio friendly by any means. It was an R&B based tune, and we all know what the modern day R&B is now. It's toxic as anything. The messages within it, you know, they're so wrong in so many ways. They promote basically swearing, they promote racist comments, they promote drugs, they promote everything, okay? Now, this guy, this DJ, he was playing to a crowd of not only adults, but there was children from probably the age of 9 all the way up to 15, okay? Because they were all various netball teams. Now, this record was playing that was using the words nigger, it was promoting sexual kind of advances, it was promoting drugs, all within it. I'm listening to it. Now, the people around there, i.e. the other parents, didn't even listen, wasn't even onto it. Because I'm bumping into them going, did you hear what that record just said? They're going, oh no, just got on with it. So I told them what it said, and they kind of looked as if to say they wasn't too impressed. But then the next statement was, well, what can you do? You know, the world's kind of getting like that. But my thought was, I'm going to tell that DJ, he better cut it out. He better play something. If he's going to play that tune, get the radio-friendly mix of it. Because I don't want my 11-year-old having access to that and listening to that. Because I've still got some morals. You know, I used to work on pirate radio stations in the 90s when R&B was not played on commercial radio stations in Manchester. So there was a lot of us who were kind of early pioneers within Manchester playing R&B that was coming straight from the USA. We used to have to buy it import-wise, so you had to get it imported in. That was like a hip-hop soul crossover, okay? Now, because it was that, I felt it was really current. There was no radio stations playing it, so I was a full promoter of it, knowing that the lyrical content was absolutely nasty. But for me, it was like, yeah, because I love hip-hop, this, that, and the other. I was only in my mid-20s, so I was kind of naive to the facts. I did not see how weaponized it was going to become. Now, if I knew what I know now, I would not have had anything to do with it. But, same again, when you're a moralistic guy that wants to be decent and wants to have integrity, it is hard to live in this world. So when I was talking to some of the ladies and some of the fathers in this netball presentation, they didn't give a shit about the fact that this record had actually said what it had said, even though it's playing it to the kids. Because their first argument was, well, you hear it everywhere now, don't you? It's on MTV. So that might be the case, but why do you allow it to happen in your house? You've got full control to say to your kids, I'm not being funny, you might like R&B, but you're not listening to that in here. Now, that's the way I come across, and sometimes I get demonized by my own family for doing that, but I'm trying to be moral. I'm trying to instill morality, okay? So to me, I would not have any Alexa unit in my house just because I know the Trojan horse that's built within it, and I would not want that for so many different reasons in my kid's bedroom, okay? Just because of, one, the input that this thing will kind of spread to my kid. I will encourage my kid, if he wants information, look it up yourself. Use your own intellect and brain. Because this thing is training people not to use the brain anymore, just to ask them questions. And then when it's going to answer them questions, it's going to answer it in such a progressive way that it will change society over the times, over generations. I can see that. So, the bottom line was, to my horror, I come home last night and my wife's sister, who lives in Florida, for all the right reasons, had sent us free gifts via Amazon. Got this Amazon box. Opened the box, they were kind of wrapped all nice, lovely. I didn't know what it was, and I went to the shop, come back, my wife said, all right, you've got Christmas presents already, so I'll allow you to open these now. And you know, her sister said, I don't mind if they open them now, because I kind of want to see how they think about it. They opened the 3 presents. One was for each child, and there was a bigger one for me and my wife. They were all Alexas. 3 Alexas. 2 of them were called Echoes, which are look like hockey pucks, and there was one about this big. I live in a 2 up, 2 down terraced house. Why do I fucking want 3 Alexas? Now, knowing what I know, because I'm slightly more informed, you could say, and I'll put it mildly, I see my arse, big time. And I said, you are not having any of them devices in this house. Now you can imagine, to my children, that was like the opposite of Father Christmas. I'm not saying that you can't have any of it. What I am saying is, the money that we will get from them, because they're going to be sold, because they're not being used in this house, you can then buy something else. Not only that, we've had to tell a little white lie now, because a mum doesn't really want to tell her sister the truth. She's had to tell her sister, oh, they love him. And that makes me feel bad. I feel absolutely awful. But then when I tell my kids about Vault 7, which goes over their head because they're only young, when I tell them about the surveillance state that we're living in, when I tell them about the back doors that is all built into all these devices, and when I'm telling them about the progressive information that this device, as much as it's put up there to be a fun thing, and isn't it great, and I can ask it this, I can ask it that, but when it's giving you information that's slightly skewed, I do not want them in my house. I've got a mobile phone that can do all that, and I don't like that, but I need a mobile phone. We all need, you know, we can see where the mobile, I don't need Alexas, because at some point, they are going to be used against us. Your conversations are going to be recorded and listened to, so it shocked me, and it's still shocking me. Now, my kids are not too impressed with me, my wife's not too impressed with me, but same again, I'm trying to be a moralistic guy with integrity and common decency in a world that is fast becoming immoral. Now, this is going to bring up a lot of debate. Some people are going to probably say, oh, come on Phil, get over it, da 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 da. You know what? I still feel the same way. It doesn't matter what comments I put from this video if I upload it. I still feel the same way. It will never, ever go into my house, because I don't want my kid having that sat in her room. Because even though I will say to my kid, put it on mute when you're not using it, do you think my child is going to always have the forethought to put it on mute? No, there's going to be times when they're going to forget. And I'm going to forget to keep asking them. So by very nature, they're going to have 3 devices around the house that is going to be regularly unmuted, that's going to be listening to conversations. And being in the world that we're living in, my conversations that are held in my house is my business, okay? We're living in a surveillance state that the average uninformed person totally appreciates, because their first argument will be, oh well, I'm not doing nothing wrong, so I don't mind it. It's not the fucking point, it's the principle of the matter. If I said to anyone now watching this, I tell you what, I'm going to set up a microphone and I'm going to put a video in your house, a video camera. I'm not going to use it, but I'm just going to leave it there. What would you say to me? You tell me to do one before I wrap something round your head, and that is a natural response. But yet, we're going to invite all these devices, knowing that that device is built by a guy called Jeff Bezos that has been paid over $500 million by the CIA. Why has he been paid that? Because he's in cahoots with it all, that's why. So this is me saying, say no to Alexa, but it's up to you guys. I can understand why a lot of you might go, Phil, I appreciate what you're saying, but I love it and I'm going to keep it. That is up to you. It's your house. It's not mine. I know I've got, to a degree, I'm trying to stay integral, and I know by doing that in the world that we live in, it upsets people. It will make people walk away from you. I can't have this conversation with some of my friends because they'll just make out as if I'm a dickhead. And I'm like, well, you go on with your bad self then. You have all them devices. And then when your ass gets hacked, and then when the system comes in where you are going to be surveilled and that audio is going to be used for metadata against you, don't come to me because I told you this shit years ago. So this is Red Pill Phil, kind of really shocked that I received these things so in such short space of time after I'd watched that video that shocked me. And now I've had to have the conversation with my family as if to say, look at this, this is why I think this. I'm not off my head because everything I've just said is validated and documented. But it's hard because people do not see the Trojan horse that's embedded in all these devices. And they're not told about that because these devices are promoted as a big smiley thing that we all need. Where what it is, it's a matrix control grid that is slowly being used against us. Now I don't know whether you agree with that, but that's how I feel. So for me, say no to Alexa without a doubt. So this is Red Pill Phil. I hope you liked, hope you subscribed, and probably this video has gone to the CIA before I get to upload it. So there you go. Like and subscribe, guys. Thanks a lot. See you later.